everyone, it's Jessica Dybzinski, and today I'm excited to be participating in the 10th series of Christy's Beautiful Life 30 Days of Sketches. Now, I am working with this sketch from day 5, and I really love a bunch of things about it. I love that it has all the different layers, and also this frame that is tucked behind the very back of the layers. So I've pulled this thin cut from my stash because I think I'm going to use it to create that. And then I've also gone ahead and printed these photos of my son and one of our rabbits from just the other week actually. And I think I'm going to use those 3x4 photos in the place of that 4x6. So a couple other things that I pulled to get ready for this project are some of the Picture My Life cards that go along with this paper collection that I'm planning to use. This is the Backyard Bliss collection from Close to My Heart, and I picked it because not only is it, got carrots and backyard things, but also there's like little pops of red that I thought would bring out some of the flowers and the red in my son's shirt. So as I'm looking at this sketch, it looks like it can be matted, like double matted. So I'm going to go ahead and make the pattern paper my base page, and then I'm going to put a white piece of cardstock, a square, a smaller one, on the center. So since a lot of that's going to get covered up and you won't see all of it, I definitely wanted to gut out the middle of my pattern paper so that I could save it and use it for something else. So I believe that I've cut this white daisy square to 10 inches. And then, like I said, I ran that die cut through my die cutting machine using some pine cardstock. And then now I'm just trying to figure out what other kind of pieces I'm going to do to create some of those layers. I'm liking this particular pattern paper from the Picture My Life cards. It's got some of those greens in there, and I think that that's good to sort of ground the photos. I'm planning to put them askew like this, and since I do have 4 photos, I will be pulling in a 3x4 flip flap later, but those are the 2 that are going to be showing. And then I did cut some pieces of candy apple cardstock, which is that color red in the pattern paper, in order to mat my photos, because sure enough, they did need a little something to help them pop off the page. So my photos are actually trimmed down about 1/4 inch, and so the pieces of red paper are 3x4. So I changed the sketch just a little bit, but I think that it works out to do that. Now, as I was kind of laying all of this down here and not gluing things down yet, I thought that white was sort of getting lost between it and the pattern paper. So what I think I'm going to do is use this gray piece of paper. It is it's pewter cardstock from Close to My Heart. I'm going to cut it just 1/4 inch bigger than my white cardstock and mat it. Now, later in retrospect, I thought, why didn't I gut that piece out as well? But then I guess at some point I did need to have a little bit of stability in the center of my page. So I went ahead and just did it like this. And yes, I think that is so much better to kind of stop that white from moving into that pattern piece there. All right, I'm still trying to figure out what this other layer right here is going to be. And I pulled a couple options, but I decided to go with this. This is a little scrap that I have left over in my Backyard Bliss collection. And this side of the pattern paper just has this chicken wire pattern to it. That's a lot of fun. And so I'm kind of going with some of the grays and the greens here. And I think that that's going to work out pretty well to ground my photos when I go like this. Okay, yeah, I'm happy with that decision. I believe I cut that piece at a 4 1/4 inch square, just because that was the size of my scrap piece that I had left over anyway, and I knew I needed to cut it to a square. Okay, so to help, again, kind of break up some of those pattern pieces getting lost into that white cardstock, I am going to edge distress my papers. I'll do most of that off camera so you don't have to watch, but I usually just swipe the edge of my ink pad directly onto the paper. And so again, as I'm like laying this out and getting ready to glue things down, I'm not liking all of the white space that is in the center of this page. So I grabbed one of the 3x4 cards from that collection, and I thought, you know what, I could probably cut this in half, and it does fit perfectly in that frame, that die cut frame that I have. And since not all of it is going to show anyway, because I've got those other layers on there, I can just slide those pieces in here, and there, yes, that is much better. It was just way too much white before, and I was thinking maybe I need to do a little mixed media or something. I don't know, something to kind of take up some of this white space, but I'm happy with that. Now, the other day I was going through some of my older layouts and I saw one that I had used the stamp set for, and I had taken, there's like a little block of small text on that stamp set. It's the Sweet as Honey card making workshop stamp set. And I had kind of stamped it so that it was peeking out from the side of my papers and photos. And I remembered thinking, oh, I really liked when I did that. I should do that again sometime. And so I thought that this would be a good layout in which to do that. I almost glued down that one pattern paper before I remembered that I wanted to stamp it on there. So that's why the back side of it is showing. But so I'm just going to stamp it down here in pine ink a couple of times. And I did get it a little bit crooked, so later it kind of throws off the look on my layout, and I thought that my papers were on crooked, but really it was just my stamping, but that's okay. I like that it's just a little detail to peek out from the side of that paper cluster. So while I'm getting the rest of that stamped and then those papers adhered down, I'll tell you a little bit about my photos. They were actually just from a week ago. It was the night before school started for my students, and I am a teacher, so the night before school starts is always kind of a bit of a nerve-wracking evening as you are thinking about the next morning. And so my son and I just went outside to the front yard and the porch, and we were just enjoying the evening. It was gorgeous outside, and we do have 4 bunnies, and the one that is in this photo is our bunny Baxter. So we brought Baxter outside with us, and we just had him in the yard, and he likes to kind of hop around in the grass and snack on some clover. And then in this one photo here over to the right, we were laughing because he did try getting into our potted flowers on the porch steps as well. And so it's just kind of this nice little evening to relax as we were getting ready for the next day. So I've pulled out this stamp set called Moments That Matter, and it's a really awesome one for stamping some titles. And I'm going back and forth between This Is the Life and Little Moments That Matter, because both of them really do pertain to what's happening in these photos. And so I'm not really sure yet. So while I'm thinking about it, I am going to turn my attention to that one 4x6 Picture My Life card that I showed at the beginning of the video. I knew that I was going to want to fussy cut out the potted plant that is on it. I thought that was really pretty. And I thought that it would go along with that one picture where Baxter is trying to get into my flowers. So I'll just take a little bit of time and I'll finish the rest of this off camera, but I will fussy cut around it. I did cut off the underneath of it. It did say bloom and grow or something along those lines, and I cut that off just in case on another project I could save that little saying and use it somewhere else. So I am going to pop up that piece with some regular 3D foam tape. And then I'm thinking that it'll probably go in the bottom left corner. When I refer back to the sketch, there are just a couple of little clusters with like some circles and hearts, but I felt like my bottom corner needed something else. Okay, and then like I said, I am going to use more photos with one of these 3x4 flip flaps. And I was just showing you that when you get a package of them, you can actually open your flip flaps in multiple ways. So some are across the long edge and some are across the short edge. So I think I'm going to use the short edge so that I can flip up like this. So I love it because the flip flap really gives you 3 photos in the real estate of 1 on your layout. And then before I adhere that right-handed photo down, I thought maybe I should stamp that same block of text again just to bring it over to the other side of the page. So I put that there, and I'm going to tuck that photo right over top of it so just a little bit of it is peeking out. And then I can go ahead, and once I've got all of that figured out, that'll kind of help me know where I'm going to put my flip-flap collection down. So first I want to do the one that is going to be flat to the page here, and like I said, I'm just trying to kind of make sure that I'm covering up exactly what I want from that stamped part. I love that little text peeking out. And then for my flip flap, I want them to overlap slightly. And there are a couple of ways to attach flip flaps. So you can put the actual flip flap and the stickiness on the outside of your page protector, or you can do like what I am doing here and actually adhere the flip flap to your layout and then cut a slit in your page protector. So that's the way that I like to do it. I don't have that part on in here because I'm actually creating this out of order for my scrapbook, and so I'm not sure yet if this is going to be a right-handed or a left-handed page in my scrapbook. So I don't want to cut a slit in a page protector until I am actually to this point in my scrapbooking. So for right now, I'm going to leave it like this, but it is a very simple process to do, and I have never had any trouble with my page protector ripping. So that's the way I like to do my flip flaps. Okay. I've decided to go with the stamp that says Little Moments That Matter, and I am stamping it in that charcoal color since I have a lot of other grays going on this layout. And I did move that over from the sketch because the sketch does show the title on the other side of the page, but I just moved mine over so that I could stamp it on my white cardstock. And you can see now my printed out sketch there is a little bit hard to see because I was practicing my stamping before I actually stamped it onto the layout itself. All right, and then looking at that sketch, it does have those fun hearts on there, so I thought, you know what, one of my favorite embellishments, my wooden buttons, and some of the buttons are in a heart shape. So I pulled out 3 of those. 2 of them are the larger size and one is the smaller, and I'm scattering those around. The one on the sketch does show a heart at the bottom of that frame piece, so I followed that exactly as it was. And then I made sure to put the other 2 in a triangle formation around my other like clusters in the title and everything. Then off camera, I did stitch that on with a little bit of green embroidery thread. And there, it's almost done here. I'm getting really close. So I'm looking back to the sketch to see if there's anything else I need to do. I think I'm going to leave it like that. I will stamp some journaling lines on my page later off camera. But my final touch is I am grabbing some of the pine colored dots here from the Crisp Air dots. It's from a different paper collection from Close to My Heart, but the colors match, so that works. And I am scattering a couple of those little green dots in the same clusters and around the title. And I think I'm going to call that good. So I like it. All right. Thank you guys so much for watching. I really enjoy the 30 days of sketches. It's so fun to be inspired all month long. And there are a couple of other people who are participating with today's sketch, so make sure that you check out the links to their Instagram accounts and other things that are down below in the description box. I really appreciate that you stopped by to watch. Please, if you enjoyed what you see, leave me, or that you saw, leave me a comment. I love reading those. All right, guys, thank you so much for watching and have an awesome day. Happy crafting. Bye.